Hello and welcome to the post-match pint in association with Purity Ale, and I could not be more buzzing. Dan Bardell joining me, Tom Julian. Dan, 1-0 to Aston Villa. What a huge result. Villa out of the bottom three. Still a lot of work to do. We're not out of the woods just yet, but I mean, the relief that I feel and you must feel right now is it's just undescribable.
I feel horrendous, in all honesty. I know we've won, but I feel like I've gone 12 rounds with someone. I've gone about 75 rounds with the toilet all day. I just felt horrific all the way through the game. And when Keenan Davis missed that chance, I thought, oh my God, it's going to be the Everton game all over again. I'm sweating. I feel sick. I'm just an absolute mess. But if you'd have said to me through all these miserable shows that we'd done that we'd be going into the last game outside of the bottom three, I would have no way believed you. I'd have just been happy if it was in our if we had a chance going into the last game of the season. To be sitting 17th now, I just hope to God that they can build on this and just get another win and we have a nice easy day, because there is a long way to go and still a lot of stuff can happen. But thank God they've won. They've done it. They beat a big six team, which they haven't done all season. They've kept a clean sheet. They've hung on to the lead. They've done all kinds. They've played well. They've done all kinds of things that they haven't done all season on the 37th game of the season. And although I feel horrific, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I mean, the comments are flying in, Dan. It's going to be very hard to keep control of them tonight. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Make sure you get your comments in, though, and we'll put as many up as we can, and we'll read as many as we can out. I just saw one which says, "I need a drink," and boy, this is calming me down a little bit. And if you are in the mood for celebrating, you fancy supporting us, fancy supporting Purity, make sure you use the code #VillaView for 10% off at Purity Ale online. Oh, you've
There
already
isn't anything
mentioned
to celebrate yet, though. It sounds stupid, but we've done nothing essentially. We've still got one more hurdle to go. And I think obviously we're related that we win, because we only tend to win one every 50 games, it feels like. But there's still a long way to go, and we've got to do something on Sunday still, in all probability. And I just hope we can.
Yes.
But obviously, I'm sure. Obviously, I'm sure.
I was going to say 2 minutes in and you've tried to bring the mood down.
No, I'm just being realistic.
It's important. And I mean, it felt to me like it was going to be a long afternoon, long evening, I should say. And then 10 minutes in, when El Mohammadi goes down holding his hamstring, I'm like, oh, we could be under the cosh a little bit here. But he held out to the water break, then decided to go off. But Freddie Gilbert, good to see him back, and he put in a nice shift, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I've probably played football more recently than Gilbert in a match situation. He hasn't played for ages, has he? But yeah. I thought he acquitted himself really well. I loved it when he made that tackle in the second half, and he was like celebrating like he'd scored a goal. I love stuff like that, and he's a great slide tackler. To be fair, he made one in the first half as well. It was good to see him back on, because I think he did add something to us. It was just an all-round good performance. Everyone was at a 6, 7 out of 10 level. I would say I thought Jack had a good game. He was more involved because we made more of an effort going forward. We actually were trying to score the second goal. We scored at a good time in the first half. Trezeguet is the strangest footballer I've ever seen in my life, because he looks hopeless a lot of the time. But to be fair to him, he's popped up with critical goals in the last 2 home games now, and he could be a big reason. If we stay up, it will be a lot down to him.
You might have missed it at the end. Jamie Redknapp was just saying as the final whistle went about how amazing Trezeguet was, and about how he's proved himself to be the best signing of the summer and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there going, well, it's not true, but at the same time, he could very well be the man that is the reason that we're still in contention, let's say, for Premier League football next year.
That's 2 winners in the last 2 home games. From his point of view, he can't do much more than that. And actually, if you look at his numbers in terms of goals, they stack up. They're good numbers against probably a number of wingers in the Premier League. But he's been fairly erratic through the season. But when we've needed him, he's proved his worth in front of goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing a load of comments which say Dan's finally smiling, so that's a nice change to see.
I was smiling last night. I was very jovial last night, I thought.
Well, that's true. After we divulged a little bit of information, which we don't need to go back on. In fact, maybe we should save ourselves and get our first guest on. Dan, yes. I think that's the best solution here. So Nilesh, is joining us already from Villains Together. Nilesh, what do you make of that?
I think I've aged 10 years watching that. Unbelievable. You know what? The last, say, 4 games we've had, we keep having defeat, and then we keep believing. It's been weird. We keep believing, and we keep believing, and the fans keep believing, and then it's as if the Premier League don't want us to leave. And today it was just. There was one point where I just wanted to turn the TV off.
Yeah,
it was just. I couldn't watch. I was just like, oh God! Every ball that was going into our box, I was like, put my fist up and like thinking, God, is this going in? But we've done it. We played really well. I thought it was a very good professional performance by us. It was really, really good. We did the right things at the right time. It was good. It was good. And if any player I wanted to score was Davies. He does work hard, and I thought, I wish he would have just put that away. It would have done him the world of good. But
would have done us the world of good as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Done my ticker the world of good. That's for sure. Just to pick up on that comment, Nilesh, I've seen loads of comments tonight and throughout the day from other fans of other clubs saying that they hope Villa stay up, and I think that kind of maybe reflects our history. I don't want to play that kind of big club card, but it feels like the kind of the Premier League what does want Villa to stay, and I've got a lot of support from other fan bases. I don't know if you've seen that as well today.
No, I have as well, and I've seen it previously as well. To be honest, when we were in a relegation battle before, there was a lot of fans groups that we used to meet back then as well, and they never wanted Villa to get relegated. It's as if we belong in this league, and other fans don't really want us to be relegated. We're not a hated club. I don't think it's not like that, and I think we have that kind of feel, which is really good. But I mean, it's good, isn't it, to have other fans not wanting us to go down. That's positive.
Yeah, but we've still got work to do, haven't we? But the refreshing thing for me tonight is the first time I've sat there and I've thought we look like a team. We actually looked like a unit in a team. We defended well. When you're like moving defensively and everyone's moving in at the same time, we just looked organised, and we looked a threat on the break as well. So as I say, I don't know about you, but that's the first time I've sat there and thought that's a team tonight.
Well, to be honest, I don't know about you, man of the match wise, but it's got to be Conte. He was good. He was really good, and when next season, he's got to be the first name on the sheet in that back four, back three, whatever we have. He looks really good. I mean, I like him.
That block against Aubameyang when the ball goes past Mings and Conte's just there and he does the job, and that was a huge moment in the game. Could have been a turning point. They were really piling on the pressure there.
Yeah, a really good footballer. Really rate him, to be honest. Really good footballer.
It was good to see Gilbert back as well, and I thought he offered a lot, kind of going forward and at the back. One for you both. Do you think he retains his place now for Sunday, or he's certainly given Dean Smith a bit of a headache?
I'd stick with him. First. Yeah, I'd stick with him. He looked like he wanted to play today as well. When he did that tackle and he cheered afterwards because he didn't lose in the corner or whatever. He really looked like he was up for the game, and he wanted to play. And that's what you want. You want players that want to play and give that passion. Fans want to see that. So I'd put him straight back in, without a doubt.
Yeah, he'll stay in. But I think if Elmo's got something wrong with his hamstring, it's very unlikely he's going to recover for Sunday anyway. And Gilbert has played the majority of that game. Like Elmo did when he came in late for Hawes. I think if you do well and you're on the pitch, for me you've got the shirt. But there was loads of people we could single out today. I thought McGinn was a lot more involved as well. Again, looking a bit more like his old self. He's not quite the McGinn of August, September, but finally now he's getting somewhere near the level that he was before he got injured, isn't there?
And a good second half, I thought. A really good second half. First half didn't see much of, but second half I thought he was really good, and he was back to picking his shots up and everything. So yeah, I was impressed with him second half. So I think he's only going to get better now, which is positive for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Douglas Luiz again had a solid game. He was doing the work rate at the back and playing it forward as well. Took a little booking exactly where he needed to as well. And I think we've really benefited from his kind of just his progression and his development. And he seemed a little bit more of a defensive role tonight. Do you like what you see from Luiz? And is there any chance he's in a Villa shirt next year?
I really, really hope so. I mean, when you first played that game, the first game of the season against Bournemouth, and we could really see his quality then. And with that goal, you could see his quality. What we didn't see, though, throughout the season was his defensive qualities as much. But since back coming out of lockdown, his defensive qualities have been spot on. He's been really, really good.
Yeah. A lot of love in the comments here. Mike Stewart, Dougie is boss man. JRG AVFC, Douglas is class. And they're all flying through. I can't read them quick enough. That's how many comments we've got coming in, Dan. Because the mood is good. And I mean, like you already said earlier, the job's only half done, if you like, not even that maybe, but it does give us a massive lift. What's the psychological thing, both for the players and for the fans, you think, just lifting us out of the relegation zone?
I think it's massive now. Like, when you look at the table now, and when the players look at the table and the fans look at the table, it's all in our hands. It is literally in our hands now. We have just got to pick up from where we left off now, going on to the next game. And I think we will. We've played well in the last two games, but this game in particular was really good. But I think we'll be okay now, and I'm really positive.
Dan, you just look lost for words there. I think you're just in contemplation of a win.
Well, because just 7 points from the last 9, it just didn't really seem possible, did it? I don't think many people were feeling that we were going to do it. I mean, there'll be someone that pipes up and said, that Mike Pearson, for example, I'm sure he can genuinely pipe up, to be fair, and say that he's been saying it. But I've not seen many people. We've been down in the dumps on this show after games, but when they've needed it now, they've done it. So you just got to hope that continues on Sunday, because I still think there's capable of being many twists and turns, and that's not nice to think about.
No, absolutely not. There's so many comments here which are just saying, please for the lads, buzzing, all this excitement, and we just haven't. We've done this show every game, and even after the Palace game, there was a little bit more optimism, but not like this. It's just been absolutely relentless, which is a wonderful place to be. So the final word then has to be, and there's probably only one answer to this tonight now. Staying up or going down? What's the feeling?
Staying up, 100%.
Gotta be.
100%.
Thank you so much. Plan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.
Gosh, it's a really, really good one. And Mighty Villain up. Mark Hattersley staying up. Emilio Anthony, a fan of somebody else. Congrats, guys! You deserve to win. I saw an Arsenal fan on here earlier saying the better team and deserve to win. And for the first time, Dan, I know we had our differences of opinion in the Everton game, but I don't think Villa really put a foot wrong tonight. The pressure in the last 10 minutes was agonising and horrible, but I think we all knew it was coming. I've put in my notes just at one point, I feel sick. But I think that was always going to come, and the way that the Villa dealt with it, obviously, the ball that hits the post is our hearts are in our mouths at that point as well, just after Davies has missed and just before McGinn has his chance as well. But by and large, we didn't necessarily control it, but we handled it a lot better.
It's not like Reina was flying around making save after save, or they were peppering the goal, is it? Obviously, they had a lot of the ball, but we were compact. And as I said, when Nilesh was on, we defended well and we shifted well as a team when we needed to. We got narrow when we needed to, and we pushed out and tried to close down crosses when we needed to as well. It was just a good game plan, and obviously it was a game plan that worked. I think Arsenal are probably a little bit fatigued, in all honesty, having played at the weekend. They've had some big games recently, and I know Arteta shuffled his pack a bit, but they've probably got themselves so up for those games. It's a little bit more difficult to then come and probably play someone like Villa when they've not got much riding on it, Arsenal, other than trying to finish a little bit higher in the league. Their priority now is the cup, but they're still a great outfit. They've got some great players. We kept Aubameyang very, very quiet out on the left. Lacazette was pretty quiet. He's a player who I think drops deep very well for Arsenal, but Louise kind of shackled him a little bit. And yeah, Arsenal had to change their system to try and counter us, if that makes sense, which isn't something you've seen too many times this season. They changed from a 3 to a 4 at the back. And I just, like you say, I think we were very steady all night. We didn't really do much wrong, but that one off the post, I honestly thought he was just going to hit Rainer's knee and trickle over the line or something, because he didn't seem to get full grasp of it after it came back off the post. But we deserve something like that, because there's been so many suspect moments where things have gone against us this season. I'm not even talking about VAR here, just stupid goals and silly things happening. But we deserved a bit of luck tonight, because we defended well and we played well as a team all night.
Interstellar Dweller in the comments says heart was in the mouth when that header came off the post. You are watching the post-match pint in association with Purity Ale. Make sure you get your comments in. We'll read as many as we can. Jamal Atcher, I could have cried at the end. James Thompson, fantastic performance from everyone today. Tom Eric Hurl, our team is back. What a team performance. And Dan, that's something I wanted to touch on, because I saw there was times where, and we spoke about this last night, in fact, where you were saying that Greg had seen the kind of team camaraderie because he's in the stadium. But tonight on the camera, I saw Konsa roaring people along. I saw Mings shouting at people, Grealish getting involved, and it really felt like everyone was up for it. And that message that Tom said there, our team was back. It was a team performance. That really felt like that tonight.
Yeah, every time the camera panned to a Villa player, they were talking to someone. Everyone was G'ing each other up. They were reminding each other of responsibilities. I mean, I thought Konsa and Mings were outstanding. At the back, you can tell sometimes when Mings picks up the ball, he has to curtail himself a little bit because he wants to try and showboat, or he wants to try and take someone on. But you can tell that's his natural instinct. But he curtailed it a bit tonight and was very, very much safety first. And him and Konsa now, they're an athletic partnership. They're a good partnership. They complement each other. Both young, one right-footed, one left-footed. They just look like a good partnership, and they've shackled a good front three there in that game.
Yeah. One moment towards the end there, which I'm sure you would have felt exactly the same as me, was when Sean Massey gave that free kick against Matt Target. Owen Bradley couldn't believe the free kick against Target, and I mean it's an absolute travesty of a decision. I can't remember who is it, Nketiah, who Pepe, sorry, yeah, who's brought down, and he's laughing when he gets back up, and I'm just there thinking, this is it. This is Villa, isn't it? And it's obviously a brilliant place for a free kick to come. And it's Mings who heads it over. But again, the heart in the mouth situation there, where you just think, this would just be typical Villa, something to go against us, a refereeing decision. Of all things, I'd have to come on and blame the officials. But luckily, we get away with it. And yeah, we're just able to live another day. We should probably get him in, because he sounds like the windiest man in the world.
He's just been muted. Is he on the motorway? sounds like he's on the motorway, Andy.
Let's bring Andy straight in, because we need to chat with him, and hopefully it won't sound like he's living in a tornado.
Needs to keep still.
There he is. Andy, we'll get you back off mute if we can. How are you? How's the heart? First of all, what did you make of tonight?
Still on mute.
Get yourself off mute, sir. Come on. It's 2020. Everyone needs to know how to use a computer at this stage.
There we are. There we are. I'm off mute now.
You are.
How are we doing? You all right?
Yeah, I mean,
so, yeah.
I think we shaved a few years off the life, but apart from that, how are you?
That was the longest 90 minutes. I can remember it. Yeah, even the playoff final wasn't like that, was it? It was incredible, really. And I have to say that every single player ran their socks off tonight. It was full sort of balls to the wall stuff, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, it was the same performance, like we've said, and I think every Villa fan. Obviously, you'll go on social media after the games, and someone will probably be getting stick. But I thought everyone that was on the pitch tonight, that 11, 12, 13, however many there was that played the game, they all put in a shift and they all worked well as a unit, didn't they, Ander?
Absolutely. I don't think you can criticise anyone. I thought there was a real sort of game plan tonight. It was, I suppose, similar. We've seen it building up, I think, over a few games, actually, Crystal Palace. I even think Liverpool away. There was a game plan in place, but sometimes it's worked better than others. I just think everyone did their jobs tonight, whether they were spectacular or not, everyone did their job. I thought, and I have to say, I think Jack Grealish really turned up. If it is his last game, he saved his best performance of lockdown since lockdown to tonight, didn't he? Really?
Yeah, I was watching a few of the highlight reels that were going around today, and there's a couple of key moments where he curls, where he cuts in and curls a ball in and scores beautiful goals. And I thought that was shaping up for him tonight. Yeah. There was a great opportunity. And to be honest, if we're being super critical, maybe he should have done better with that start there. I mean, it doesn't matter now, so it'll be okay. But I mean, he looked like the old kind of talismanic guy that we've come to know and love, didn't he, tonight? He G'd everybody on, but he also played with that kind of cavalier attitude that we're so familiar with.
He did, and I'm just thinking back to an interview he did around Christmas time, I think, where he was asked about Villa's survival, and he just said we ain't going down, and he looked in the camera and said we ain't going down, and maybe that's going to come right, maybe that's going to be true. But yeah, absolutely, he was a lucky. I think that I really thought that ball was in. That shot in the first half, I thought it was going in the top corner. I was off my seat, if I'm honest, But yeah, he was superb, and I just think that left side with him, Connor, who was great again tonight, and Target, they just link up so well. They just know where each other are going to be, I think, and it just works so well down that side. I don't really understand why it hasn't been used more often, really, that three. But.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The just balance of the team looks better, I think, when you've got Jack on the left and Connor on the left-hand side of the central mid, and they can switch over when they need to. They've both got good game intelligence. But tonight was one of those rare nights where you're watching the game before as well, and just everything's going right. I was tweeting every step of the way tonight, saying, we're a quarter of the way there, we're halfway there. But
I didn't like that at all, by the way.
No, but you know what? You go into that last quarter just thinking, this is where it always goes wrong. This is Villa, but it just didn't happen. It's one of those rare nights, isn't it, Andy, where just everything's gone right.
Yeah, I mean, even Nketiah heading it off the post from 2 yards and it bouncing, and even like Rayner looked like he dropped it and he still got it. It's just, you kind of think then that's us over the line, But again, then you see Davis miss the chance, and you think back to El Ghazi the other night, and you think that's it. We're struggling now. We've got to hang on again. But I was having obviously messages, and I've got a mate who's a West Ham fan, and he was saying, "No, just relax. You're fine. You're in control." And I think that's it. I think from a neutral perspective, maybe we were in more control than we felt, because we know our team, don't we? And but there's some growth there tonight. I think even a few weeks ago, that's a game we don't win. Somehow we contrive to lose it, and I think there's some growth there, particularly with the back five with Douglas Luiz in front. There's some real kind of growth there, and I like it. You almost feel excited for next season if we stay up.
Well, that's not just yet. Because there does have to. I guess there does have to be a measure of. It's not the last game tonight. You still got one more to go. But how much confidence are the lads going to take into that final game against West Ham now, coming off the back of a huge win, but a great team performance? Matt Targett's just tweeted actually with the F-bomb, but effing get in there. One more hurdle to go. But then there's this team spirit that we just talked about seems to be back. How much psychologically is that going to boost them for Sunday's final showdown?
Psychologically, unbelievably so. The only thing I worry about is what they've left out on the field tonight.
Right.
They ran their socks off tonight, and it would have been a massive emotional relief, I think, to get back in the dressing room with the 3 points. The next few days is just about recovering and getting them back down to earth to go again, because you go and beat West Ham and it's in our hands now, isn't it? But that's the challenge for the coaching staff. I mean, Smith talks a lot about emotional regulation and stuff like that, and that's what it's all about in the next few days now. But yeah, massive boost.
Yeah, Dan, I've just seen Mark Hattersley's just put in the comments, person of the season, the Watford chairman. Obviously, just before our game, Watford getting a pounding 4-0, and they were good for their defeat as well, and in equal measure. How do you think the Villa players buzzed off that? Do you think that they were watching the game before, or do you think they stayed away, or a bit of both?
I think I'd have watched it. I'm sure a few of the coaching staff would have definitely been watching it, keeping the Villa players in touch with what was going on. By the time they'd have gone out to the warm up, it would have already been 2-3-0 anyway. So they'd have known they're in a good place. And I think Jamie Redknapp said there'll be a bit of a spring in the step in the warm up. And obviously, if Dave Watford had got something tonight, you might not have seen such a spirited display from Villa, because that's bound to deflate you just as you're about to go to a football pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. I think Mika Richards said before, he said that apparently, I think he texted Jack Grealish and they'd watched the first half together or something as a team. Right. So they'd have known probably at half time, I think City were 2-0 up or 3-0 up or something, and they'd have known that it was probably in their hands now, which would have given them a boost.
Yeah, Andy, final question. For Sunday's game, do you make any changes off the finishing 11, or do you keep it the same?
I don't know really. I mean, I suppose the only one you might look at is the fullback, whether Elmo's fit or not. Because I'd always pick Elmo at fullback. I think for his experience and his delivery. So if Elmo's okay, then I'd stick with Elmo. I suppose Davis is a good shout, but I thought Samatta ran his socks off again tonight. He led the press really well. I thought he had his best game probably since Wembley. So the right back is the only position I'd look at really. So I'd always start with Elmo at right back.
Yeah. Nice one, Andy. Thank you so much for joining us. Massively appreciate it. And hopefully we can all look forward to Sunday together.
Absolutely. Nice one. Take care, lads. All the best.
Cheers.
Ta-da.
Dan, I mean, it would be typical Villa, wouldn't it, to see wholesale changes for Sunday? But I think I can agree that there isn't going to be that many changes. Samatta looks like he's going to be the starter now up front as well, but it might just be whether Elmo's fit or not. That's the real consideration.
I think Davis, maybe Smith thinks that he works better as an impact sub than Samatta would, because they're obviously neither of them are going to play the whole game. I don't think so. I think Davis off the bench is potentially more useful than Samatta off the bench. So I thought, like Andy said, Samatta actually led the line quite well tonight. Again, he was never going to score a goal, but I thought he worked his socks off, and he put the Arsenal back line under pressure, dropped in to defend when he needed to as well. So I don't see that changing, and I just think it will be Gilbert for Elmo, because I don't see Elmo making it.
Yeah. What did you make of what Andy said in terms of the leaving it all out on the field tonight? So Wrestling Titan says 4-day rest should be okay. What do you make of that? Because the emotional and the kind of psychological expense, as well as the physical toil, do you think Villa can be fully recovered and fully in the right mindset when it comes to Sunday's match?
Yeah, I think there's enough break now till Sunday, and I think a win, being 3 unbeaten, I think all these things, Villa will be buoyed now. We looked as I said, we look more of a team. But do you know what? We look like we wanted to be on the ball a bit more than we have done in previous games, and that comes from confidence, and that comes from winning a couple of games and beating a team like Arsenal, something that we haven't done all season. We'll give all of them a boost. It's the last game of the season. They're not going to be playing football again for 6, 7, 8 weeks, however long it is. I don't think tonight will be a bad thing. I think they'll all be rested, they'll all be recovered, and I think they'll be buzzing to get out there again.
And a couple of comments calling me out personally, not me personally, but West Ham play tomorrow, of course, against Manchester United. So I mean, they're not going to be as emotionally invested, I guess, but they still have to do the physical job against Man U tomorrow night. So it's still I mean, I'm getting excited. I feel like there should be a measure of composure in this still, but because the job is not done. But it's hard to keep that in check sometimes, especially immediately after a result like that.
Yeah, it's well raw coming on here and doing it straight away, isn't it? I didn't have any time to settle down and compose myself at all. Same for you. So as soon as we come on, like, it's just talking about it and trying to like gather your thoughts and collect them and get them out in a rational way. But I'd much rather be sitting here trying to do that after a win than some of the games we've had since football came back. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, let's get our final guest on of the night, Mr. Henry Lansbury himself, Aston Radford. Aston, how are you? How are you feeling? And yeah, talk us through your emotions during that game. Oh, you've got a little bit of a high definition issue.
There, he's got a long way to go, looking like Henry Lansbury there.
What's going on here?
We can hear you well, though, so that's the main thing.
If you can hear me, we're rolling. Yeah. We're rolling. We're off the cuff. To be fair, just watch back the last 10 minutes. I don't know what we're worried about. We're really in control.
Yeah.
I was sat basically behind my sofa, behind the table. I couldn't watch it. Just watched the last 10 minutes back, and we looked absolutely fine. It's really, really strange where all season we've had these late defensive issues. And tonight it was just like you thought we'd have seen these 1-0s out for time. It's really, really, really bizarre. Obviously, absolutely delighted. And I thought performance-wise we were superb. Shout out to Gilbert, because for a bloke that hasn't kicked a ball in so long, he was absolutely top notch. I think that was Jack's best game since the resume of obviously COVID by an absolute country mile. I thought Jacko was absolutely outstanding.
Do you think in some ways the fact that we shipped that goal so late at Everton, do you think that in some ways added some concentration to us because it was still raw and they just didn't want it to happen again?
It's got to. I think in that situation, like I said, the Everton late goal was obviously so close but yet so far. I think I said like a mindset. It's got to be a little switch, a little flip, which players say, actually, let's stand up and be counted for it. Let's not make these silly little mistakes, which it was. The Everton goal was a silly little mistake. Target got caught ball watching, lost his man. And to be fair, Walcott shouldn't have had that much space and time in the box in the first place. And tonight we just made sure that didn't happen. We didn't even give them a chance for that to happen either. We didn't give away a silly corner or a silly set play in a silly area in the last 5-10 minutes or so, which prevented any opportunity for Arsenal to score from a set piece, which has also been our Achilles heel all season as well.
Yeah. Ben Hatfield in the comments here, Aston says, credit to Smith tonight, good game management. That's something we've been a little bit critical of in the run up. We've seen kind of similar substitutions all the way through, but he changed his formation a little bit, brought Davis on as well at the right time. What did you make of Smith, kind of in a longer term, so since the lockdown, but also in tonight's match?
In tonight's game, it's strange because we played a bit like last season, that 4-1-4-1, where we had a deeper holding midfielder. And then so in terms of tonight, it was obviously Connor and McGinn in front of Louise in the first half. And then we seemed to tweak it at half-time, which baffled me slightly, considering I thought first half we looked really, really bright and promising.
Yeah.
And it took us probably 10-15 minutes to settle into the new kind of shape where we kind of freed McGinn up as such and dropped Connor in alongside Louise, and gave us a bit more of an attacking impetus in terms of McGinn. He got into the box, had a decent strike, which he stung the palms of the keeper. So yeah, I thought Smith tonight tactically timed it very well, and also tonight as well, substitutions were absolutely bang on the money. Where against Everton, before they scored their equaliser, I think we only made 2 subs. or 3 subs out of the 5 before the Everton equaliser. And I was thinking, at the time I was like, wouldn't mind getting like Nakamba on or just a bit of fresh legs around the centre of the park just to go and try and win a 50-50 or get to the ball a little bit quicker than someone that's a little bit tired. In tonight, Smith got absolutely bang on with that change. Nakamba for Connor. Connor was fine, didn't do anything wrong, didn't have a bad game. Just needed that freshness in the centre of the park for us to be able to compete a little bit more, which was absolutely pivotal with how the game was going.
It was very un-Villa tonight, wasn't it? We've seen a lot of things that we've been crying out for all season. Just so many things you could probably write a list. But do you know what I mean? It just felt very un-Villa like. And I've got to say, when Nakamba came on, I was thinking I don't agree with that because, like I say, Connor had done nothing wrong.
He didn't seem happy.
I didn't feel. Well, he's never happy when he's coming off, is he?
Yeah.
But I felt like we weren't going to keep a clean sheet, so I was like, well, you're taking away your supply line for the only way we're scoring a goal at the moment. But yeah, what Aston says, the subs all worked, but it was very un-Villa like all night, wasn't it, Aston?
It was. Yeah, we seemed organised, resilient, knew what our job was, and we even had a goalkeeper that could throw the ball against the post and catch it on the rebound via his knees. So it was just, it was almost comedy Villa, but also at the same time it was. Yeah, this is all right. We're rocking and rolling with this, and we're used to it. It was, it's just strange how football can be. How you can look in absolute shambles for 75-80% of the season, and then for 2-3 games, you get your bit of a mojo back, a bit of confidence, and you're up and going. It's a mental sport. I don't know why anybody likes it.
Rob, who's a Manchester City fan, buzzing for you lot tonight, coming from a City fan, always had a soft spot for Villa, and I hope you stay up next week. Kind of an example, again, of the fans.
He was probably a Villa fan till 5 years ago.
Oh, he's saying something nice, Aston. Barry Robertson says, phenomenal stuff, great game and performance. Thought Konsa was immense. Davis looked shot, and actually I was embarrassed for him, what's going on with him. It seems... I feel gutted for him, to be honest, because tonight was the night, that was the opportunity, and I don't know whether he'll score a Premier League goal or not. Because that was the chance there. He did everything right. He just can't finish.
He's effective, but he's also a Sunday League player at the same time in terms of front of goal. The issue is, I don't know. I'm more concerned what's happened to Samatta. For a bloke that when he first come in would look to make darting runs, looked a little bit lethal, would play like off the cuff a little bit, would be a little bit sharp. I thought tonight was a little bit brighter, but I don't know what's happened to him. Like we're looking to put the ball in the box, and he's putting a 1-2 on the corner of the box, and you actually hang on a minute. We need you in between the two centre halves to get on the end of it, because we've got John McGinn who's 5'7" and nobody else, and you're our main outlet. So
since he met me and Dan in the club shop, he hasn't been the same player.
Well, he did score in the cup final a few days later.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah,
that's true.
That's true. You've killed that, haven't you? Killed that storyline dead.
Well played, Dan. Well played.
Yeah. And just when you thought the night couldn't get any better, Aston, Henry Lansbury comes on for 90 seconds.
Yeah.
What
unbelievable scenes.
What on earth's that hair about?
It was very similar to yours, in all honesty.
Yeah, mate, I've got HD issues here. He's been on a 4K ultra high definition camera. It looks an absolute shambles. It looks like he's had the same lockdown as me. Moved house 4 times.
Listen, Aston. Then before you go, what is the what's your prediction for Sunday? Who goes up? Who stays up rather? And what's happening with Villa on Sunday?
It's in our hands, which it hasn't been for a long time. So, and I'm looking at the reaction of a lot of players tonight. Jack at the final whistle collapsing to his knees, letting out a mighty roar. That I think there's a little bit of belief here that these boys could just push it over the line, that one final push. Obviously, West Ham are home in dry, so is it that old kind of saying, are they going to be on the beach, your feet going to be up, are they going to mess around with the team? But we've just got to focus on ourselves, go out there and same performance tonight, 120, 130%, leave it all on the pitch, and whatever happens. Is out of our control as fans and in his supporters, in his management staff, coaching staff, etc., and just hope the boys can deliver and see it home. And after tonight, the Everton game and the Palace game, we're on a little bit of a roll, so keep the faith, and I don't think we'll be too far away.
That's it. That's all we can do now. Aston, thank you so much for joining us on the post.
Absolute pleasure,
mate.
Shock we win and I come on. It's just meant to be. I've been pestering down for a month to get me on, but
wow, this is the problem.
Too Roy Keane for Dan, I think.
Well, we need a bit of that, maybe. Aston, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Dan.
Cheers, guys.
let's round this up a little bit. There was one stat that I knew they were going to bring up, but they brought it up 15 minutes earlier than they usually do. You know, the conceded stat. You know, we usually get
that one.
The Villa have conceded X amount of goals in the last 15. They brought it up at 30 minutes this time.
Oh, yeah.
32 goals conceded in the final 30 minutes. And just when I thought that, I was like, what? And the commentators are just trying to coax out that win, aren't they? Or the equaliser, rather. Just all these little droplets in, which just make us feel horrible as fans. But finally, Villa can talk about a clean sheet. And it just feels like it's something we've been waiting for, that maybe as fans we've deserved to have a clean sheet, a decent performance, and 3 points in the bag.
Just how is it in our hands? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, let's have a look at the table then, because I think that's the last thing we need to do here on the post-match pint, because finally, Dan, we can look at the table and it not look quite as bad as it has done.
Yeah, what a table.
There you go. Aston Villa 17th with 34 points, but how close is it? Watford also on 34 points, just a goal behind. Bournemouth with the same amount of goals as Watford. So if they manage to win their final game of the season against Everton, they would go up to 34. Watford obviously play Arsenal, and we have West Ham, who are just a place above us. You kind of look at those, Dan, and all three of those opposition teams are on the beach a little bit now. You know, that's kind of taken out of. I don't think Arsenal can even get Europe anymore. I think they could before tonight, but I don't think they can get Europe without the FA Cup anymore. Everton obviously not playing for anything, and West Ham are safe as well. So it's kind of an even keel, I would say, opposition-wise, except for maybe the quality.
We've just got to win the game. You win the game, and you don't have to worry about anything, which is an unbelievable position to be in. I think if it's not us, I think it'll be Bournemouth that stay up. To be honest, I think because the goal difference is so tight.
Yeah.
If we lose and they win by a couple of goals, it would be them. Yeah. That ended up. Well, depending on what happens with Watford, obviously, but it would be them that I would be worried about with their fixture against Everton. That would be the one that concerns me. But if we can just win our game, I mean, if West Ham have got nothing to play for, if Snodgrass players fancy scoring a couple of own goals, things like that. Hopefully, I'll get on the message to him, send him a little message, see if he fancies that. The fact it's in our own hands though is just unbelievable, and it didn't seem possible a few games ago. It didn't even feel possible after the Everton game, did it? We were all down in the dumps about the way we drew that game, and it felt like I felt like it was over at that point. I've got to be honest, but we've done it. We've turned it around, and I've got to praise Dean Smith because he's remained pretty calm throughout, hasn't he? He's been saying all the way through that I think we'll stay up. I think we'll get to a good place. He thought the performances were good. I don't necessarily agree with that for every time he said it, but he's remained quite composed and calculated throughout this. And I think at times this season he's had his hands tied behind his back as well. So I think he deserves credit to getting us to the last day, because we have been a shambles at times, but it's in our hands, and I cannot believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Daniel Kiernan says, up the Villa, who was your man of the match tonight, lads? I can't remember who said it at this point. It might have been Naresh. But Konsa was phenomenal tonight and really stepped up. And again, it kind of, for me, it kind of come down to the passion as well, of that he was taking a real leadership role in the team. So I would immediately say Konsa, but I don't really want to highlight anybody above anybody else, because I think it was a massive team performance and everyone did their jobs tonight.
Yeah, I'd agree with what you say. I think Gilbert deserves a huge amount of credit, having not played football for so long and putting in such a good shift and a good performance. And like you say, it was just a team display. So I think the whole team deserves credit, and Trezeguet deserves a lot of credit, because ultimately he's the guy who's put the ball in the back of the net, isn't it?
I mean, the man that deserves most credit is Michael Pearson, who just commented, "Don't you know, pump it up." We need to highlight Mike Pearson, because he came on here five or six games ago and had the biggest smile on his face, was the most confident Villa fan, certainly that I was speaking to, saying that There was not to worry. He even said, I think he predicted results against Palace and Arsenal and West Ham as well. So, he deserves some bragging rights. Hopefully, the bragging rights will still be maintained on Sunday, because, I mean, ultimately, and not to finish on a negative note, but if it all goes wrong on Sunday, then all of this was for nothing. But we can enjoy this victory as it is, and look forward to / dread Sunday as it comes.
Yeah, shout out to the shirt army as well after last night. I said about wearing the 98-99 shirt, and it's come good. A lot of people were tweeting me in their 98-99 shirts, and it has worked. So I'll come up with a similar scenario for when we've won at West Ham away. I might leave this as well. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll be in touch on social media with what the shirt army should do next.
I'll be in touch. Yeah, well, this is the reason that I donned this, because we haven't beaten Arsenal since the 2019-2020 season at home. So, now
that instruction at all.
I didn't have the LDV shirt. I was really struggling what to do, and luckily we won, so I could bail myself out. I should shout out Kurt, who says, "Oi, I predicted those results as well." So, Kurt, fair play to you as well. All right. We're drawing to an end here now, but if you are in a celebratory mood, it was a great result, great performance by Villa. If you do want to splash out and support the podcast, you can go to Purity Ale and get 10% off your next purchase using the code #VillaView. Make sure you grab some quality ale. You support the podcast. You also support Purity as well, who are a Villa partner. So it's a family thing. Dan, what's the mood now going into Sunday? How do you think the players are going to feel? Do you think this is a weight off their backs, or do you think the pressure is still there? How do you think they turn up to training in the next couple of days?
I feel like a massive weight will be shifted just by not being in the bottom three, and the fact that they broke so many things that they haven't managed to do all season. Tonight's taken 37 games, but we've got there in the end to break a few things that we haven't managed to do all season. It'll be a big thing, but the key thing is as well that we haven't done anything yet, and they'll be keeping the same focus and the same mentality that they've had over the last few weeks, and making sure that they get over the line. A lot of these players that were here last season, they now know about getting things over the line because they did it last year in the playoffs. So you've got to lean on the people that were there last season, the likes of Jack, McGinn, Connor, Mings, the people that were there last season and know what it takes to get over the line. And we've just got to make sure we get over the line again on Sunday. But there's nothing negative that can come from tonight, is there? There can only be positive things that the team can draw upon and take from tonight.
Totally agree. Great place to end it. So, Dan, thanks again for joining us. This was the post-match pint in association with Purity Ale. We'll be back on Sunday after the game, of course, and whether we win or lose, whether we stay up or we go down, we'll be here. We'll be discussing it all over a beer. So make sure you join us then. Get involved with the comments. And until then, keep thinking those positive thoughts. Dan will let the shirt army know which shirt you've got to wear on Sunday. And we'll be back. But as ever, up the Villa.